Welcome to this technical review of the built-in VMware monitoring in NAKIVO backup and replication. If you run a vSphere estate, you already know the problem. A virtual machine starts pinning its CPU in the middle of the night, a data store quietly fills up, and the first time you hear about it is when an application owner opens a ticket. In this video, we will set up NAKIVO so that it watches for that on your behalf. We will take one concrete case, a virtual machine whose CPU load climbs above 80%, and configure the product to detect that condition, raise an alert, and send an email to your mailbox so you find out before your users do. The reason this matters for a backup administrator is that it removes a separate tool from your day. NAKIVO monitors your vSphere infrastructure from the same web interface you already use for backup, replication, and recovery. So there is no NAKIVO agent to install inside each virtual machine and no second console to log into. We will walk through the metrics dashboard, the monitored objects, the real-time and historical performance metrics, alert templates, triggered alerts, the email notification, and the reports. By the end, you will be able to reproduce all of it in your own lab. Before the demo, a few concepts and prerequisites are worth getting straight. Monitoring works on three types of vSphere objects: virtual machines, ESXi hosts, and data stores. For each one, NAKIVO shows two kinds of data. Real-time indicators show the current value. For a virtual machine, that is CPU load in percent, memory load in percent, and disk usage in gigabytes. For a host, CPU load and memory load. For a data store, disk usage in terabytes. Alongside those, historical charts plot the same counters over a window you choose, from 1 hour up to a full year, which is what lets you tell a one-off spike apart from a trend that needs capacity planning. One detail that matters for that planning: NAKIVO keeps recent data at 1-minute resolution, then averages older points into 10-minute and later hourly values and eventually drops the oldest. So these charts are built for spotting trends, not for reconstructing one exact minute from a year ago. A few conditions have to be met for the data to be complete. The virtual machine must be powered on, or there is nothing to monitor. VMware tools must be running inside the guest. Otherwise, NAKIVO cannot display disk usage for that virtual machine. If you intend to generate the PDF reports we cover at the end, the font config library must be installed on the machine running the product, or the reports will not render correctly. And because our scenario ends in an email, the product's email server has to be configured first, and I will show you where that lives. One more thing, to set expectations. NAKIVO collects a new data point about once a minute, so when you first add an object, give the charts 3 to 5 minutes to populate before you expect to see anything. Let's open the product. In the left-hand menu, click Monitoring. The metrics dashboard opens by default, and this is the at-a-glance health view of your infrastructure. On the left of the dashboard is the tree of monitored items. At the top, you have a search box to find an object by name, and a filter button that lets you show only hosts, only data stores, or only virtual machines, which matters once the environment is large. If this is the first time you open monitoring, you will see a No Item is being monitored message. Click Add Monitored Items, and in the Edit Monitored Items list dialog, select the hosts, data stores, or virtual machines you want from the left side, or set up a policy rule to add items automatically, then click Save. You can reopen that same dialog later with the Edit button. For this lab, the objects are already added, so let's expand Overview and select a virtual machine. The right pane now shows that virtual machine's data. At the top is the number of detected issues, then the real-time tiles, CPU load, memory load, and disk usage. Below them are the historical charts, CPU usage, memory usage, and disk usage, each plotted over time. To change the window, click the controls icon on the right of a chart and pick 1 hour, 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, 365 days, or a custom range. If you select a host instead, you get CPU and memory. If you select a data store, you get disk usage in terabytes. This view tells you what is happening right now, but staring at it all day is not a plan. So next, we make NAKIVO act on it for us. Now let's create the rule that watches CPU automatically. Go to Monitoring, open the Alerts section, and select the Alert Template Management tab. This is where every alert rule lives. Click the plus button to open the Create New Alert Template wizard. The wizard has 3 steps. The first is Source. In the View dropdown, choose Virtual Machine, then select the virtual machine you want to watch. In this lab, that is the SQL Server virtual machine. It appears in the right pane. Note that you can only work with one object type per template. So a single template is either about virtual machines, hosts, or data stores, but never a mix. Click Next. The second step is Rules. Click the plus button to add a rule. A rule reads like a sentence, with an if part and a for part. In the if part, the metrics dropdown lists the counters that apply to the object you picked. So for a virtual machine that is CPU load, memory load, or disk usage, choose CPU load. The conditions dropdown then offers the comparisons. Choose is greater than. Enter 80 in the value field and set the unit to %. In the for part, set a duration, so that a brief, harmless spike does not raise an alert, and only the load that stays high does. You can add up to 10 rules in one template. In production, the duration and the severity are what keep an alert useful instead of noisy, so tune them to your environment rather than paging on every momentary spike. Click Next. The third step is Settings. Give the alert a name you will recognize in the history list. I will type virtual machine CPU load above 80%. Add a description if you like and set the severity. The choices are caution, error, and critical. I will choose critical. To get the email, select the checkbox in the notifications section and type the recipient address. And a single template can hold up to 100 addresses. For that email to actually go out, the product needs a working mail server. With that in place, click Finish and the new template appears in the list, enabled. Let's prove it end to end. Imagine this virtual machine is running a production application that suddenly starts consuming far more CPU than normal. To create that condition on purpose, I will start a CPU stress process inside the guest operating system. You can see CPU usage climbing inside the guest, and I will let it run until it crosses our threshold. Now, back in NAKIVO, in the metrics dashboard, I select the same virtual machine. The real-time CPU load tile is now above 80%, and the historical CPU usage chart shows the spike clearly. This is exactly the condition we defined, and because the load stays above the threshold for the duration we set, the rule is met, and NAKIVO raises the alert. Let's open the Alert History tab under Alerts. The triggered alert is listed here with its name, a severity of critical, the source virtual machine, and the time it fired. At the same time, the notification has gone out to the mailbox we entered, so an administrator who never had the console open still learns that this virtual machine crossed the line. It is worth being clear about the boundary. Monitoring tells you the threshold was crossed, but acting on it, whether that means adding resources or moving the workload, is still your decision. The last tab is Reporting. Real-time alerts tell you about the present moment. Reports give you the trend and the capacity picture you take into a planning meeting. Go to Monitoring, open Reports, and click the plus button to open the Add New Report wizard. At the source step, the report type dropdown offers 5 reports. Infrastructure Overview lists your vCenter servers, data centers, clusters, hosts, and virtual machines, with physical CPU, physical memory, and data store capacity. Data store capacity shows each data store's capacity, used and free space, and how many virtual machines sit on it, so you can see a data store filling up before it stops a backup. Virtual machine performance charts the average CPU, memory, and disk usage for the virtual machines you select. Host performance does the same at the ESXi host level, which is where you spot a host under pressure. The protection report cross-references your hosts and virtual machines against what is actually being backed up, which is how you catch a virtual machine that is monitored but unprotected. Pick a type, select the source objects, and click Next. At the time step, choose the period, last 7 days, last 30 days, or a custom range. Note that the infrastructure overview, data store capacity, and protection reports are point in time, so they cover a single day. Click Next. At the settings step, give the report a name, and if you want it delivered, select Send Report To and enter the recipients, pressing Enter after each address to turn it into a tag. Click Finish. The report is saved, and from the ellipsis menu, you can export any report to PDF or to CSV for the table-based ones. Because reports ride on the same mail server we set up earlier, you can have an infrastructure summary land in your inbox on a schedule instead of opening the console. To summarize, NAKIVO Backup and Replication monitors your VMware, vSphere virtual machines, hosts, and data stores from the same console as your backups, with real-time tiles and historical charts. You define what matters with alert templates built from if and for rules, and have NAKIVO email you the moment a threshold is crossed. And you turn the same data into scheduled reports for performance, capacity, and protection coverage. Everything you saw here you can reproduce in your own lab. Add an object to monitoring, write one CPU rule, and trigger it. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to catch new uploads. You can also visit the NAKIVO website to download a free trial version of NAKIVO Backup and Replication and try the solution in your own environment for 15 days.